It's a nostalgia-styled hot rod magazine featuring all New Zealand content as much as possible, really.
A niche magazine for traditional hot rodders. Not everybody's cup of tea.
We've never changed from that. It's always been early cars and cars with no bling. And I think once we told the guy we don't feature cars with true spokes, just to put him off.
We did a club book with 5 like-minded guys, and lucky Terry Barnett was involved in the printing industry, and he provided the facilities to do the first one, and we did that book, and then that led on to doing another history book and another one, and then that got the fire sort of going to start our own little quarterly magazine, really.
I'd been in hospital, had an operation, I was off work for 3 months, and anyway, when he came in to visit me, he says, I got this idea, I want to do a magazine. I go, oh yeah?
I honestly thought that we wouldn't get enough copy to sort of fill the magazine. I thought we'd actually run out after a couple of years.
I didn't know Robert at that stage, but he said, I'll work with a guy, he can do this, and I'm thinking, I'm sure, because at that stage it was only big-time magazines.
Ken was around one night and he said to me, he says, oh, can your computer do a magazine? And I said, well, it's got everything on it that we use at work. I said, oh yeah, I suppose we could, and it just led from there.
Launched it at one of the first hot rod blowouts, and it went like mad then, and we thought, man, we're onto a real big winner here, but we just kept on battling away at it, and the guys that are into what we're into, they love the magazine, and we're sort of sticking with that sort of style, and we don't sell it in the shops, we only sell it by subscription and through preferred outlets that we have, and it's gradually sort of seemed to be growing all the time.
There's not really much pressure with 4 mags a year. Sometimes they come out after 2 months, the odd one comes out after 4. We do 4 a year, but yeah, it's a nice hobby, it's a nice thing. We all enjoy doing it. Doesn't matter which bit you do, the 4 of us are stuck together.
As long as we cover our costs and the accountant's happy, that's as much as we can do, really.
I think the magazine really looks bloody good and well accepted, so why not be involved in it? So long as it's sort of not a chore, it's good. It's really enjoyable.
Ken's kingpin, right? He's the centrepiece. He decides what's going in the magazine. He basically runs the magazine.
He's kind of been in that sort of business, for quite a while, so you've got to really hand it to him that he really knows what he's talking about.
Well, basically I really shouldn't be a hot rodder because my parents weren't into cars at all, although they encouraged me. I'm pretty well mechanically impotent, but I got a lot of friends that helped me out, and I probably started through surfing and then seeing hot rod magazines, and then travelling to work at the Auckland Star. I met this guy called John Willis, who's a passionate hot rodder, and he sort of was bringing magazines when we were sitting in the bus and reading them, and he sort of got me enthused, and I bought my first coupe off a guy at the Auckland Star, and she was away. We were doing it. Paul Savanti's actually a consummate hot rodder. He lives, breathes, sleeps hot rods all the time. He's absolutely passionate about early hot rods, and he's a major part of the organisation.
So for me, when I was in high school, Westlake Boys, in the mid-60s, and one day somebody had a Rod and Custom magazine, and I just could not believe I'd never seen cars like that. From that day I was hooked, and I think it was 1966. And then I started noticing hot rods on the street, and then where we lived in Glenfield, just up the road, was singer Alison Durbin, and next door to her was Jammin, which had the Chop 34 coupe, which Jeff Miffa-Taylor ended up with. And I used to walk up to the shop and look at this car and think, oh wow, yeah. And the same as my sedan. I saw that in 1967, the first time in Tekapuna, when the Gaylor brothers had it. And then in 71, when a car, it just said hot rod for sale in the paper. I went round there and I couldn't believe it was the same car. Just bought it. Couldn't even drive it home because I had no licence. I had to get a mate to drive it home. Robert, as we all know, doesn't know one end of a car from another, and he knows that. Robert takes a bunch of stories and a bunch of photos, and every 3 months he turns it into a really good magazine.
Robert's totally not a car guy, but I served my apprenticeship in printing at the Auckland Star with Robert, and he's always been a lifelong friend. And he was skiting to me about what all his computer could do at home. He said he could do a whole magazine at home. Gotcha, Robert.
Say to Ken, oh, is that a 32 deuce or a 34 or whatever? And he said, no, it's a 33 or something. Ken's had his 39 V8 for years. He's got 2 of them. But I can't tell the difference. If you see them in the magazine, I can't tell the difference between 36, I don't know if they made 36 coupes in them days, up to about a 40. They all look the same to me.
It's only the fact that we've got Robert that we can do a magazine in his back bedroom, basically. And that's one of the real great things of the new technologies. We couldn't have done it 20 years ago, no way at all. Bernie's got one of the hard jobs. He's got to handle all of the accounts and subscriptions and posting out and all that sort of stuff.
The odd grumpy person on the phone, if they've got a wet magazine or one didn't turn up or whatever.
Well, I was never really into hot rodding. I sort of looked at magazines in the early days, but when I was about 17 or 18, I was going out with my current wife, and her sister was going out with a hot rodder. He kind of dragged me into it, and then from there I haven't sort of stopped being involved and really enjoying it. I've built quite a few cars, 4 or 5 cars, and that's kind of the side of it that I really like, is actually building something from nothing, or a collection of bits. Hopefully I've got another couple in me, even though I've got about 10 ahead of me.
At Classic Cover Insurance, agreed value means agreed value. No fish hooks. There's a lot of reasons why your hot rod or classic should be insured with Classic Cover. To find out more, jump onto our website and see for yourself.
We're really a lot into home-built cars and guys working in the garages.
I like the idea that, you know, like in the old days, somebody'd get an old coupe and rip the fenders off and lower it and put twin pipes on it, and they'd have a hot rod sort of thing.
We're going a lot back into our past, and New Zealand's got a unique early hot rodding history because we've adapted things up that weren't American to make our hot rods work, and I think New Zealand is especially unique in that regard, really.
It's so strong at the moment. You got the John Reeds, the JRs are building those top-end cars. There's Rocket and Max Speed and a few others like that who are doing traditional cars. We've noticed the growth, like in our club, with either New Zealand-built cars, home-built cars, or imported cars.
Just can't believe that the time's gone so quickly since we started, and yeah, we're really proud of it.
12 issues a year, that's 12 and a half years. It's coming up to 13 years. It's quite a long time just sitting in this room on a Tuesday or Wednesday night, just putting out a magazine.
We had somebody ring the other day from America and want to advertise in it. And like, I thought somebody was taking the piss, but it was a genuine customer from over the other side of America that wanted to advertise. It's really something.
You know what it's like, because you've designed it, you've printed out the pages, you've had a look, you've done the corrections, but when it comes out in the old, in the nice glossy little magazine that it is, it looks quite good, and everyone seems to say, oh, best issue yet, Ken's saying they're still hanging out waiting for it. I don't think we've ever been late. A couple of times we might have been, a couple of weeks, and they've had people ringing up, oh, when's it coming out? But yeah, it comes out 4 times a year.
There's lots and lots of features still to come, so as long as we can write, walk, talk, whatever, we'll keep doing it.